Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Republic, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice for all. All right. Thank you all. All right. So back to the seating, and we'll do a roll call. I'll go through the participants here. So I'm here, Mike Harmer. Let's see, Mike, Dave Lyons.
Present.
All right. I'll say Fred, you're here, right? Fred's here.
That's right. I can hear you.
Jim, Jim D is not a member, but assistant town manager. Jimmy O'Connor, you're here, right?
I am here, yes.
And Bill Zolfer, town manager.
I'm here, thank you.
All right. And David Lyons.
Here.
I've already said your name, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Things are moving on me here. So let's see. I got Bill. Oh yeah, when I talk. So Fred, Jimmy, Mark Norquist, is that you out there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Mark. And Commissioner Persinger, you're joining us also. So looks like we're ready to roll here. We got Jimmy, let's see, Mike, Dave, Fred, Jimmy, Mark. All right. So the agenda was posted, and I'd like someone to make a motion to adopt the agenda. It's got the 2 public hearings on there. Motion?
I'll make a motion. We adopt the agenda.
Second, looking for a second.
I'll second it.
All right, that's Dave. All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
All right, I hear no nays, so all in favor.
Mr. Harmer, you may want to defer action on the minutes until the end of the meeting in case Marty joins us.
Yeah, good call. Thanks. I'd forgotten about that. So so in the meeting minutes, approval of the meeting minutes, we'll defer to the end of the meeting. And hopefully I won't forget that. If I do forget that, we'll bring it back for the next time. End of the meeting. Thank you, Fred. All right, so what we're going to do is the agenda talks about discussion amongst the planning and zoning commissioners about a draft ordinance to amend section 185 of the zoning code for eateries and changes to allow for carry-out only eateries to not be required to have a public restroom. So what we'll do is we'll discuss it amongst the commissioners, and then we will open up the public hearing and keep the commissioners meeting open so that we can have a dialogue, and then we'll close and we will discuss and possibly vote to make a recommendation about that draft ordinance. And once we're done that, if we accomplish that, even if we don't, we'll open up a public hearing to talk about the eatery that I said to sell carry out only ice cream. I thought it was ice cream, but it's like pie bowls or whatever. So the owner of the eatery is going to present, or somebody's representing him will be presenting to us in the public hearing, and that'll be the second public hearing. So without any further ado, there is a draft ordinance that was posted, and I think I emailed it to the planning and zoning commissioners, and it basically goes into section 185 dash 25D 1A 4D of the Code of Town of Dewey Beach, where we're going to add a clause, where we're going to recommend adding a clause depicted by the underlined area in that ordinance that's posted, existing the provision concerning the requirement to provide public restrooms. So basically, right now, an eatery has to have a public restroom, but we don't address eateries that don't have like sit down seating. Don't have folks inside coming in. So this would be like an example of that would be Thrasher's Fries on the boardwalk, where you just walk up and you get served and then you walk away and you do not eat that food. That's what we are discussing to allow, not just because of this application. I mean, we're discussing it because of the application, but it's something that's not addressed in the code. So we figured we clean the code up and then we talk and see if we recommend that, if we're going to recommend this ordinance to the town commissioners for approval. And then we would move on to talk about the eatery, because this eatery is going to do just that. They are going to serve stuff in a bowl or whatever, and nobody's going to eat it there. So there's no need for a public restroom in at least in the way we've written the ordinance. And looking at the model of the boardwalk, where the fry place and many other places, you just walk up. But there's a long list of items that we're going to talk about if we, as we get to this particular eatery concerns that it's going to be a conditional use. So we'll make a list up of conditions that we recommend, and then the town commissioners can decide what they want to do with those conditions. They'll consider those in their own meeting. So that's what this ordinance does. I'll be looking for a motion after we have our town hearing on it. But basically, it just says that if you're not having indoor seating, that you don't need a public restroom. So are there any questions about that? I have nothing to discuss other than that's what the intent of this is. Fred drew it up and it's posted. And if anyone has any comments, let's hear them. Otherwise, we'll move to the public hearing.
Mike, I just have one clarification question, just to make sure I'm clear. So we're saying that if the establishment has no outdoor seating, a bathroom is not required. Is that right?
That's correct.
No, not exactly.
Right. Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
It's not a question of whether it has outdoor or indoor seating. It's a question of whether it has a patron area at all.
There you go. Yeah.
So if it has no patron area on its premises, then the question is, can you have such an establishment? Because the way the code is currently written, you must provide a restroom to your patrons no matter what.
Okay.
So the way it reads, David, is it's underlined, says, so if indoor seating is provided, a minimum of one handicap unisex bath restroom shall be provided. So they're not going to have any indoor seating at this facility. Therefore, no bathroom is required, is what we're kind of the road we're going down.
So I understand that for the one that's here. I guess where I'm confused is back to Fred's point, which is if for some reason another establishment were to have seating outside, are we saying that they would not have to have a bathroom?
If outdoor or undisclosed, there's another section D says if outdoor or undisclosed tables or chairs are provided by the eatery, it does. We did not specify that if you have outdoor seating that you need a bathroom. We could add that. What do you think, Fred?
Actually, I thought Fred's words were actually, if you went back to the words you used, Fred, I thought that was a pretty good way of describing it.
So that is a question, and that was a question that staff may want to speak to, which is, do we want to distinguish between, I don't know, do we have establishments that have outdoor seating with no indoor seating? And the outdoor seating, by the way, would have to be on their premises. So if there's a picnic table or a bench or something that's on common ground, not part of their premises, then that would not be considered patron area of theirs. So the reason I chose the language I did in C that's underlined is because it mirrors the language in B, which is,
right.
But another way to put it might be, and I don't know if there's a distinction that matters to anyone, but another way to put it would be if, unless a patron area is provided,
are you saying a patron area to dine or where somebody walks in the establishment? Like at Thatcher's French Fries, you just walk up to it.
Right.
so I would,
a wings to go, you actually walk into, but they don't have tables.
and you're not invited to eat in that area you're describing.
Correct.
Wings to go, right?
Correct.
Well, that's something I guess for this group to explore. Maybe staff has an opinion about that. But what I envisioned was if you're not providing an indoor patron area, or maybe perhaps an on-site patron area, then the question is, should you be required to provide a restroom? And I think there's at least some thinking that you may not, that may not be a requirement or an appropriate requirement.
So I guess that's why I asked the question, because obviously I don't see that there's a problem if it's a takeout, right? If you're not providing a place for somebody to sit down, a restroom facility is not necessary. But if you are inviting somebody to sit down, even if it is outside on somebody's property, do we want to allow that without having some kind of a facilities?
Mr. Lyons, on somebody's property or on?
I'm sorry, on the owners, on the on the restaurant or the eatery's property.
So
that's the question I'm putting in front of the group.
I think there's room for you all to discuss that.
So the intent is, it's just a matter of how to word this, Dave. I think the intent is to make it so that there's no, if they're serving food to be eaten on premises, that there's going to have to be a bathroom. So I think that when they do their public presentation here, we'll find out there is not going to be, but we need to make sure that this rule will fit anything that comes across our desk in the town hall. Yeah. So,
right. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah. I think, and I don't know if, we're into discussion with the commissioners. Are we able to ask, Jim Deed some questions here on his thoughts on that?
Of course.
Yeah. So Jim, the way it's worded now is we just address, we say, if indoor seating is provided, you have to have a bathroom. All right. That's what this ordinance does so far, the way it was posted. We're not addressing if there's anything outside, and we're not saying in this, you can't have outside seating, but somebody, like if there's a table outside, like for example, the old Dairy Queen at the time, there was no seating inside, but you walk outside, right out there on the street, and there's three picnic tables, and lots of people sat at that picnic table probably and ate ice cream, and there was no bathroom. So they were already, I'm not aware of any unisex public bathroom that was even available there at the time, but it's gone. So
I think those tables were wings to go.
Yeah. So, but people use them. So I don't know of any tables outside of the rudder, or not the rudder, the bottle and cork, on the application in front of us. And I think they would probably do a presentation and tell us there won't be any. But we need to, like I said, this is the code. This isn't their application. So the code, we need to make it tight. I think it's, I like the way Fred worded it. Maybe we could say, if indoor or outdoor seating is provided, a minimum of, one handicap. But see, that might catch somebody unintentionally. I'm just trying to think up and down the existing the existing folks. And if I might add, Mike, I think Fat Vinny's has outdoor seating, but they've got a public restroom inside. Hot Dog Johnny's had outdoor seating, and Jimmy, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe there's a bathroom in there as well.
There is a bathroom inside, yes.
Yeah.
There's no tables, but Hot Dog Johnny's used to have tables inside also.
Right.
Yeah.
What I've done, I got rid of all the tables, so but I still do have a bathroom, correct?
Right, and we do have other outdoor areas where they provide bathrooms. Some restaurants actually have outdoor seating that provide, almost every outdoor restaurant that we have in the Dewey has outdoor seating, of course, has a bathroom. So I think, if you want to be on the safe side, I don't know, I'm not sure if this makes sense. You could put indoor seating or patron areas provided indoors. Would that cover it?
Is it indoor, Jim, or is it just?
No, for indoor.
Seating?
If the indoor seating or the question is, if there's outdoor seating tied to a restaurant, you'd have to come back in. I mean, the restaurant has to have a bathroom, so I think it's almost a wash. I think the issue is if it's an indoor carryout and there's no patron area and no seating, then do they have to have a public bathroom? That's the question.
I would think that if you made it, that if a customer walks inside your doors, you would need a bathroom. If it's like a
Or-
Thatcher's French fry and they walk up to a window, you don't.
No, this place is going to be, I think it's a walk-in. There's not going to be a window, but it's going to be just like the Dairy Queen was. There's no bathroom, but it's yeah, there's no bathroom, but there's no service either. You take it and then leave. You know, and they're also saying, just a little tidbit here, but like I said, this is the code. What I heard, and I think they'll present, is that they're not even allowed to take it inside the bottle of cork. So the bottle of cork is going to make them throw it away, you know, for lack of better words, if they try to walk in the bottle of cork, like they buy the food and try to walk in the cork and eat it. They're not going to allow them to do that either. Just FYI. But as far as our wording, if indoor seating is, if indoor or patron area for dining, or patron area / seating for dining / seating for dining. Seating.
Mike, would you consider this if we just say if patron seating is provided? Would it require a bathroom?
What do you think, Fred?
Well, for those eateries that provide outdoor seating, that would require them to provide a restroom for their patrons. And that's the question, you know, whether I guess that's the question the commissioners are sending to you. Do you think that it's necessary to, or appropriate to require of an eatery that it provide a bathroom facility to its patrons if a seating area indoors or outdoors is provided? Or only should it be a requirement of an eatery that they provide a restroom to their patrons if they have indoor seating? That's the question for you. And I think before you settle on any kind of language, you know, we should have the public hearing and hear what the public have to say about this, and maybe get the final word from staff.
That works, because yeah, we can come back and play around with it if you guys are okay with that. Anybody?
Does
Mike-
Mr. Persinger want to be heard? Mhm.
Yeah, just a clarification. My recollection of the application that you're going to look at, there is no indoor patron area. It's all reserved for food preparation, so there would be no patrons inside that business.
That's what I saw.
Yeah, it's
Right.
window service only.
Right.
Oh,
There's a takeout window, I believe, on the Cork parking lot side, if you look at the drawing.
Okay, well then that's my bad. Okay. All right, so let's, with that being known, and we got some ideas for some wordsmithing, let's go ahead and leave the commissioner's discussion open and open the public hearing on the draft ordinance, which is to amend the section 185 of the zoning code for eateries and changes to allow for carry-out only eateries to not be required to have a public restroom. And at that point, we're in the public hearing. I'm not sure if Kate sees anybody that wants to talk. Kate,
Yeah, so Keith Mashinsky is in the waiting room if you want me to go ahead and bring him in now.
if I know he wants to talk about his eatery, and we were going to do that in the second public hearing, but if he wants to
Okay.
talk now and clarify a few things about what he's thinking he's going to do there, it might just help our discussion a little bit.
Sure, I'll bring him in first.
Fred, you got something?
Right.
Fred?
I mean, he can talk about what he'd like to do, but, you know, we'd also like to hear from anyone, including him, who has an opinion as to whether
Yeah.
or not a bathroom should be provided by an eatery that doesn't provide indoor seating.
I tell you what, I have a email from David Muskowitz. Before we get to you, Keith, I'm going to say we have an email from David.
David is also in the waiting room if you
Oh,
want
he
me
is?
to go ahead and bring him in.
Well, let's hear from Keith, and then we'll go ahead and bring David in. Okay. So since David's here, I just won't read his email, but he was saying that, you know, if you're going to have you know, a restaurant or whatever with a patron area, that you need to have a bathroom. So let's just hear what Keith, why don't you just keep it to, just give us a couple of facts about what you're doing, and we'll bring you back for your presentation. All right?
Sure. Just so you guys are aware, we're not going to have a patron area. There's no indoor seating. There's no outdoor seating for that matter for anyone. It is literally a grab and go scenario where people will come up to a takeout window, order their food, and then walk away.
All right. So is there anything you want to say about the code that we discussed, or you want to hold your presentation till the next public hearing, which will be in about 10 minutes or 20 minutes?
I was not privy to the code except for what was sent to me in an email.
Okay, good. So why don't we have you back? Can you go?
Can we ask a question?
Go ahead.
First of all, if any commissioners have questions for Mr. Mashinsky regarding the ordinance, this would be the opportunity to ask them. And I would just start out by saying to the applicant, I take it that you would be in favor of an ordinance change that would allow for an eatery to exist, such as the one you've described, without providing a public restroom. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so we've got one member of the public so far who's in favor of that change to the ordinance. Do you have any opinion as to whether or not the ordinance should require a bathroom of a facility that provides no indoor seating, but provides some outdoor on-premises seating? Do you have any opinion on that?
For my own personal business?
No, just any opinion in general. I mean, you, I think, have cited for us in a previous appearance before council that there are other examples of establishments that don't have indoor seating and don't provide public bathrooms.
Correct.
Are you aware of other local eateries that have outdoor seating and no indoor seating? And do you have an opinion as to whether or not they should, or whether they do, provide bathrooms?
Not within the Dewey town limits. I'm not aware of any. However, as a restaurant owner, I don't believe, providing a bathroom when we don't provide indoor seating should be a necessity.
So you think the test should be whether indoor seating is provided, not whether indoor or outdoor seating is provided?
No, I think seating in general. If someone's going to sit down to have a meal of something that you're providing, they should have to provide a bathroom for them to use during that time.
Okay, so that would apply to indoors or outdoors.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you, Keith. Any commissioners have any other additional questions for Keith right now? We'll bring you back in about, when we're done the first public hearing there, Keith, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, and we'll have Dave in. Let's see. Hello, David. We're
closing my YouTube right now.
Yeah, I was gonna, paraphrase your email, but since you're here, if you want to go through a few things, right now we're talking about the ordinance, and we're trying to decide do we say if indoor seating is provided, a bathroom is required, or do we say if indoor or outdoor seating is required, they have to provide a bathroom? We're leaning towards probably indoor and outdoor, but we'll have that discussion after we close this public hearing. This one's just on the ordinance, not on the eatery.
Yeah, and just to reiterate the letter real fast, I'm a full-time resident who lives and works in Dewey Beach, and I also hold a University of Delaware Planning Education Certificate. And for this hearing, the change allowing takeout only eateries to not need a public unisex bathroom is reasonable. However, the current draft ordinance, which you already been discussing, allows outdoor tables, which is not takeout only. And without a nearby public bathroom, the residents don't need the public using their sidewalk and entryways as a bathroom. The ordinance should definitely state only if no seating is provided by the unit or the complex, because it's possible that the eatery does not provide seating, but the complex does, and then there's no bathroom. And then you really need two additional requirements. The big one is the establishment still needs to have an employee bathroom on the same premise per lease or ownership, and it needs to be accessible by all hours, by all ages of employees, and you should decide how far it can be away. I mean, should the bathroom not be available, the business should need to cease operation, Because I mean, as I said at the town meeting, you don't want an Amazon situation with employees wearing diapers. And then with no bathroom in the food unit, there should be an additional requirement. There'd be a separate sink that is not food or dish service required so employees can wash hands. The town made headlines a few years ago with the former restaurant, the Port, having sanitary issues. So, I mean, if you're going to do a takeout only, and there's not many places in Dewey that can do takeout only, this might be one of the few, if any. The issue is you also need some sanitary requirements involved, including employee bathroom and a sink for washing the hands. And then indoor, outdoor, it's the same thing. Because right now there's only one bathroom, public bathroom in town, and that's all the way by the Hyatt. And most people will not be walking all the way there.
Yeah. So they're going to present, Keith, the business owner is going to present in the next public hearing, and he'll probably address some of that stuff. But it's my understanding there will be a bathroom. They'll have access to a bathroom, and it's right there. It goes right through the office, from their workspace. So
no, I agree. That's the next public hearing. But for this, because the problem is if you don't pass something in general here, then the next applicant that tries to come up with an idea of a 150 square foot restaurant might not have the same configuration. I mean, right now, what the applicant is proposing is it goes through a different office in the complex where a 16-year-old kid will be able to walk through some papers and be allowed to use the bathroom. The owner of the complex is an elderly gentleman. If the complex gets sold off, you want to make sure that business still has access to that bathroom. It might be a hand wink agreement, but it needs to be something that's shown in lease, and it needs to be not just for this place, but for any other place that wants to operate like this. Just so it's the first of its kind, and you want to make sure it's done appropriately, because otherwise you'll have people who will be peeing all over town. You need some ground rules.
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, all right. I guess at this point we will. Is there anybody else, Kate, waiting to talk?
No, not at this time.
All right, so we will end the public hearing, and now we'll get back to the ordinance with the commissioners. So at this point, we heard some comments from Mr. Muskowitz, and made some pretty good points. We just need to come up with a wordsmithing, to give to Fred to finalize the ordinance at this point. Does anybody want to take a shot at it, or do you want me to, or how do you want to do this? Dave, you want to try, give him some words?
I'll take a shot at it and see if
All right.
I was going to say, I'd like to make a motion to amend section 1C to read, if the establishment provides patron seating, and I guess we could say whether indoor or outdoor, a minimum of one handicap unisex restroom shall be provided.
Can you say that again, David? Just so I
Sure.
can make notes straight.
So the amendment I'm suggesting is section 1, paragraph C. If the establishment provides patron seating, either inside or outside, a minimum of one handicap unisex restroom shall be provided.
Mr. Harmer, do you want to ask for a second?
Yeah, it's just get my notes here. So is there anybody would like to make a second or add anything else to that motion?
I would just
All
like to clarify how you're describing patron area. Is it where somebody actually walks in and orders from a counter, or is it a window?
So I guess where I was going, Jim, was what if the establishment provided the seating area. That's what I was trying to get to. But you're right.
Mm-hmm. So
We do need to clarify
like
that, because it has to be if the establishment provides the seating.
Okay.
So may I suggest and this doesn't go to every point made by one of the speakers, but that you consider if indoor or outdoor seating is provided on premises, comma, and then continue on from there. And that eliminates this question of what is the meaning of a patron area that Mr. O'Connor is raising. Is a patron area where you've got room to stand on a welcome mat? Does that trigger a bathroom requirement, or should it be a seating area?
I'm saying if you walk through a doorway into the establishment, that would be patron area.
Right, and if you use the term, if you use the definition or use the language that was proposed in the motion, then that would require a bathroom if you've got any patron area. So the question is, what do you want to do? What do you want to see? Do you want to see it limited to those providing indoor or outdoor seating, or that the requirement be imposed upon a restaurant that has any patron area, which could be an area where you would place an order in front of a cash register? So what does the group want to see?
So, well, right now we got a motion from David that says if
Well, you
the
don't have a
indoor outdoor-
second. You don't have a second yet.
Yeah, the second.
Right, we got to get a second, right? So we got indoor outdoor seating is provided on premises. Then a unisex bath is provided, blah, blah, blah. So do we want a second on that and then discussion? So who wants to give a second on that, and then we'll discuss and modify if needed. Is that where we're at, Fred?
Well, we don't have a second, so we're
Okay,
still.
so we're okay to discuss? Okay. So I like the way that David's words, because it's pretty clear. It doesn't leave, if we put patron area in there, we might have to define patron area.
Right.
So
I think we need to define patron area.
Well, if you use the term patron area, then you need to define it.
Right.
Because if you use patron area, then that is a broader term than seating.
Correct.
And the definition of an eatery is defined by whether its indoor seating exceeds 35 patrons. So that's why I used indoor seating, but I also grant you that the question of whether outdoor seating should trigger a bathroom requirement is up to this group and to council.
Gotcha. Okay.
And by the way, for the record, Mr. Harmer, it looks like we've got 4 members, and that is a majority of our total membership. Is that right? You have a quorum?
correct. Yep, we've got a quorum.
Can I ask Jim a question? That's okay. Maybe help bring some clarity.
Ask who?
Jim O'Connor.
Sure.
Hey, Jim, I just, in terms of your thinking, if you were to have an establishment that didn't have any seating at all, but you walked inside to place an order, would that, in your mind, trigger a bathroom?
No. It would be a
Right.
patron area though, but yes.
A patron area, but not, so if they're not sitting down, which is, I'm in agreement with you. If they're not sitting down, I don't necessarily see the need for a bathroom if they're stepping inside. But they're not staying. That's what I'm thinking you're trying to get at, but I'm not sure.
I guess if you keep with the additional seating, the 35 or less, it's an eatery, that's fine. That's in the code too, so.
So we're gonna get a second on Dave's words in, Jimmy?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Well, okay.
Go ahead, Fred.
Did you have something, Fred? I didn't see. I'm sorry.
Okay, it sounds like Mr. O'Connor is saying, and it sounds like Mr. Lyons just agreed, that having an indoor patron area that doesn't include any seating shouldn't necessarily require a bathroom. I mean, I don't know if I misinterpreted that exchange, but that's what I thought I heard. That if you've got a patron area but no seating, a patron area that doesn't allow for any seating and where people don't stay, then there's no need to require.
That would be a wings to go. people walk in, water, and they have no bathroom, nowhere to sit inside, but they do provide outside. So I don't know how you want to do that one.
I mean, that's why I was just going with seating. If you provided seating
That's fine.
and don't even discuss that, stay away from the patron. If you provide seating, you have to have a bathroom. It's that simple. That's what I was trying to do.
Indoor or outdoor?
That's what I'm suggesting.
Okay. So then the or outdoor could be added. And then I would suggest saying on premises. However, that raises an issue with comments made by Mr. Moskowitz.
All right, so the current wording we have in front of us from David and seconded by Jimmy, basically, you want to read that again, David, just to make sure we're all clear,
Yeah.
or try to?
Yeah, I'm gonna try again. So I'm referring to section 1C, if indoor or outdoor seating is provided on premise, a minimum of 1 handicap unisex restroom shall be provided.
Yes.
Now, yeah, that's the way I'm suggesting.
Second.
All right. And we got a second from Jimmy on that. Now we're discussion. Fred, any angst? We'll get to you in a sec, Gary. Fred, any angst on that?
I don't.
All right, Gary?
It's just a question. Is it clear what you mean by seating? If you have a row of chairs up against the wall inside, is that seating or not?
Yes.
Do you need to clarify that?
How would you clarify that?
I would think that's seating.
Yeah.
There's chairs, it's providing seating. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. Well, looks like we've got that piece covered. So anyone else have any more comments, suggestions? Mr. Zolfer?
Yeah, thanks. I just think if you have any seating at all, outside or inside, you have to have a bathroom. So I agree with.
Yeah, that's what it says. Yep. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take a vote on the words that's in front of us that was seconded. There's 4 of us here. We got Mark Nordquist, a yay or nay?
He's muted.
I got his hand up.
Yeah, go ahead, Mark. Yeah, you have to look for the mute button on there somewhere. So while you're looking for that, let's go to Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Jimmy.
Mark's back.
Yes. Mark.
Yep. Now he's gone again.
Oh, we lost you. Yeah, looking for turn your microphone on there, Mark. Again, we had you there for a second. There you are, Mark. Yay? Yes. Yes or no?
Yay. He said yay.
All right. Yes. All right. And David?
Yay.
And that'll be me, will be yay. So the ordinance passes, and that concludes that piece of our meeting. So now we'll move on to the second section of the meeting, which I'm looking for my agenda, which was underneath my papers here. So now we are going to go to discuss among planning and zoning commissioners about a draft ordinance regarding an application for an eatery to sell. I said carry out only ice cream. That's what I thought it was, but to sell to just for an application for a eatery is probably more appropriate. But if it's appropriate to move forward on that discussion, I'll go ahead and get it started. So I've got the application, and I asked the commissioners to pull the application. It was a plan view that was done by Pinoni. They show a picture of where it's going to go at the bottom court, and they show a equipment plan also in the documents from the Engineering Architectural Alliance Company, it looks like. And you can see, where their equipment's gonna be laid out and how people will walk up the steps there. and place the order. So I don't really have any major questions on that right yet, but I think maybe we can, if there's anybody wants to discuss it quickly, let's talk about it with commissioners. If the town, if Jim or Gary or anyone wants to chime in, then we'll go to the presentation, which will provide a lot more information. Then we can come back and set some conditions and stuff. And I've got the conditions from the last eatery that we approved, and that was the ice cream shop. So down the street, that was Vander Ween's ice cream shop. But it doesn't mean that our comments will be just limited to those types of conditions. At this point, any discussion amongst the commissioners before we get to the presentation from Keith, the owner?
My only concern with it was that the window was not onto the highway or onto the sidewalk.
Yeah, it's not.
If it's around the side, I have no problems at all with it.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be. I got a verbal from Keith that it was not. So it's hard to tell on this plan view where that window is, but I think I see it.
We can ask him when he's here.
Yeah, let's let him tell us. Any Commissioner Persinger or Mr. Zulfer or Jim Deeds, any comments? I see none. And we'll go ahead and get Kate to let the applicant in if he's still there and he's willing to present to us. Welcome back, Keith. We just been going over your equipment plan, and we just want you to just explain to us what you're trying to do and how. The big question is, where's the window at? We're looking at the equipment plan. It looks like, I think I know where it is, but I'll let you talk about it and the issues that we discussed the other day as far as people standing in line and where they're going to stand and things like that. But you're up.
Sure. So if you look on the drawing from our plans, where it says existing sliding door to remain right by the existing mulch bed, that's where the order window will be. So it will not be off of Route 1, it will be in the adjacent parking lot. So that should curtail any issues with people standing out on the sidewalk and creating a log jam there. In the previous meeting, I had talked about it's a very minimal construction. 157 square feet is all of our building. We're basically converting that into a commercial kitchen with only takeout from there. I think it's minimal work to be done to convert this, so the disruption to the town should be very minimal. And we're hoping to be up and running now. After this delay, we're hoping to be up and running by the 4th of July weekend, which would be great for us. Is there any other questions that you guys had for me in regards of operations or logistics of how we plan on running our day to day?
I'll go ahead and just take the liberty to start, and then we'll get go through the other commissioners. So what are you going to do with bathroom? So a couple questions.
Sure.
Bathroom, hand washing for your employees, and trash disposal. And what are you? What actually are you serving? Because we thought it was ice cream. Somebody said it was ice cream shop, but it's
okay. Yeah. So we are. The name of our company is Playa Bowls. For those that aren't familiar, we do acai bowls, which is think of almost like a water ice consistency. Acai is a berry that's grown in Brazil. It's then frozen, blended, added a little bit of natural cane sugar to it, and it's blended into, like I said, a smoothie-like consistency at the bottom of a bowl, and then fresh fruit and some type of drizzle is added on top of that. It is a healthy alternative to something like an ice cream or a frozen yogurt.
okay.
So in regards to hand washing, if you look on, again, the equipment plan, we have 3 sinks, actually 4 sinks, all of which required by the Delaware Board of Health. We have a prep sink, which is E6. We have a hand sink, which is E4. We have a 3-compartment sink at E5. And then back in where the hot water heater is, we will have a mop sink as well. So all of those should comply with the Delaware Board of Health and should answer your question about hand washing. In terms of the bathroom, the public bathroom, it's going to be in an adjacent area, which is now an office used by the Bottle and Cork, which does not open up to a patron area. It is a locked room that only our employees and would have access to. And looking in terms of garbage disposal, all the way in the back, I don't know if you have a picture of the plot plan of the entire property.
Yes, we do.
Okay. So on the backside, which where Dewey Beach Liquors is at the backside of the parking lot, there's right in between the liquor store, there's a fence. That is where there's currently a dumpster.
Okay.
We will be adding an additional dumpster right next to that, and that's where our trash will be disposed of.
Dave Lyons?
Hi, Keith. One question, I think you've already done this, but I'm just gonna ask it for the record, but you've already put the plan.
Hey, Dave, something's wrong with your volume or noise or something. I don't know what that is.
Is that any better?
No, you're coming through like a robot. We can hear you, but it's like a robot
Okay.
voice.
I'm gonna leave and come right back. How's that?
Still, yep, robot voice. If you can't fix it, I mean, we can tolerate, but okay, you're gonna exit and come back. Okay, so let's while we're doing that, Jimmy O'Connor, you got any comments or anything you want to talk about?
All my questions were just answered, and I look forward to enjoying some of them.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. No comments. All right. So hold on, Bill. I gotta let me get to Mark Nordquist.
Yes. Am I on now?
Yeah. Any comments?
No comments.
All right. Thank you. While we're waiting on Dave to come back, Bill Zolfer.
Thank you, sir. So Keith, what were going to be the hours of operation?
Right now, we're looking to be open around 8 a.m. until 9 p.m. Except for Friday and Saturday, we would go 8 a.m. until 10 p.m.
Okay, thank you. And then for your trash disposal right outside your window, what will you be providing?
Just a normal trash can. Usually, if you come in any of our other stores, we just have I guess it would be an aluminum trash can, oversized trash can that we would, then dispose of back to that big dumpster.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Let's see. Dave, I'm looking for Dave if he's back yet.
I'm back. Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, definitely. All right, you're up, Dave. All right.
Thank you. Sorry to get interrupted. It happens all the time with my internet. But you have put the design through plan review, right, with the Board of Health, and have you received your
Yes,
authority to construct?
Correct, we have. Yes.
Right. So they would have already gone through and taken a look at all your kitchen and presumably your bathroom.
Correct.
Already in terms of this, right? So I just thought for the record that should be out there. That Keith's already applied for that and received his permission to construct from the Board of Health. So I think that's an important piece.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, David, we've also received a verbal confirmation from the fire marshal and from Sussex County. They were only waiting on the approval from the town of Dewey in order to give the official go-ahead. They wanted to make sure that there was no pushback from the town in terms of their code before they gave their approval.
Right. So I'm on board. I guess I do have one question for you, and that would be just you're sharing the bathroom facilities. Are the bathroom facilities that you'll use for the eatery under your lease, or are they part of your lease? That was the only question I had.
They are a part of our lease. The use of that bathroom, yes.
The use of the bathroom is part of your lease. Okay.
Yes.
So if something were to change or the ownership would change, you would still have a lease that guarantees you bathroom privileges or bathroom use for your employees.
Correct.
Okay. Fred?
Oh, I don't want to interrupt you, Mr. Lyons. If you're done, I had a follow-up to that.
I'm finished. Go ahead, Fred.
Those were good questions. Thank you for asking those. Mr. Mashinsky, does the Board of Health require you to provide a bathroom facility to your staff?
They do not. They actually require us to have a bathroom within, well, I should say within 500 feet. Yes, that would be their requirement.
That is their requirement. So you have
Correct.
to provide a bathroom facility to your staff. It's not necessary that it be on premises, but that it be within 500 feet for the record. Okay, great. I've heard that word and tried to pronounce that word a number of times. I've heard it pronounced many different ways. Is there only one pronunciation? Is there only one correct pronunciation for acai?
Of acai that I'm aware of, yes.
And you're in the business, so you should know, right?
Correct.
All right. So I now know how to pronounce that word, and I will correct anybody and point to you as the source on that. Okay, so I really appreciate the comments on the public health. We heard some comments from the public about, whether we should be introducing a lot of these public health protections into our zoning code. I'm not sure with the appropriate authorities to be doing that. There didn't seem to be much interest in that, but just the same, I thought it needed to be at least touched on during the course of the hearing. So that's all I have. Mr.
All right, so Fred, I'll make some comments, closing comments, but well, first of all, we need to see if there's anybody else in the public waiting room to make any additional comments, and then we'll close up the public hearing. Jim, do you have anything?
Yeah, I was just, I understand you have a lease with Highway 1 at this point. Will your lease include the expansion of a bathroom into their premises?
No, our lease does not include an expansion. It allows us access to that bathroom.
Well, they'll allow you to have access. Will your lease, is that specified in your lease?
It is. It is specified in an amendment, I should say, to the lease,
Okay.
because an addendum to the lease. We were told that we had to add that in, and we got their sign off on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you going to be playing any music or outdoor speed?
Mhm.
No music. It's simply carry out service.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
All right, Kate, anybody else out there?
No, there's not.
Okay, great. All right, so we will close the public hearing at this point, and then we'll move to the discussion. So I'll start off the discussion, and I'll probably just close it out after I go around the room. So Fred, this will require a second ordinance. The first one, is pretty much done, and we will send that forward, get you, you'll make the edits, and we'll make that a recommendation to the town commissioners to consider. And this second ordinance, we haven't really drafted it up yet, but that's something, Fred, that you will work on after this meeting. And I think we'll start talking about conditions. And will you be able to take the conditions down I'm going to make notes for the minutes, but will you be noting those and make it more efficient to get this thing done? Because I know there's a time crunch here.
Presuming that there is a motion that passes to recommend approval, then the motion will have conditions in it, and we will incorporate those into an ordinance that's posted before the commissioners act on it.
Correct. Okay. So that's the process. So where we're at now, planning and zoning commissioners, is basically we're looking for a motion that I think we could go, why don't I envision a ordinance and see if somebody wants to make a motion for an ordinance, and then in the motion would say to include the following conditions, and then I will list some of those from the previous conditional approval, just to throw some ideas out there. But the person making the motion should be making some notes. I won't make the motion, so it's going to have to either be Dave, Mark, or Jimmy to make a motion. So hopefully you guys can make some notes on your motion, on your motion that you put forward. So basically, the ordinance that we did for the last ice cream shop basically said that the first condition, it had 15 conditions, right? and 16 conditions. And the first one was a pretty good one. It said the primary use of the facility shall be that of an eatery, period, per town code. And that's going to be in the introduction, but for some reason, when Fred goes back and looks for something to start from, he'll probably find, one of these ordinances, and that was like, these are a bunch of whereases. And then the first one says, after reviewing the applicant's proposal and site plan, which we've all done, all right? And then section 2 says, the planning commission hereby recommends, that's item 2, that'd be section 2. And then section 3 is about the conditional uses. And this is the way we format our conditional use ordinances. So I just sort of set the table here. So the section 3 would say something like this conditional use approval shall be subject to all applicable provisions of the state, federal, county laws and all that. And Fred would wordsmith that. And then the conditions, which is what I'm getting to. So the conditions of operation of the eatery in Dewey Beach, including the standard condition contained in this town code. He would cover all the things we don't think of. And elsewhere in the town code related to prior conditional use approvals for eateries in Dewey Beach and related portions of the code, including the conditions. So as far as we're concerned on planning and zoning, all we need to do is list the conditions for Fred. So, he'll know what to write. So I've got these in front of me, so I'll make some notes, and then whoever's proposing the ordinance, if you just want to accept all those conditions or edit those, however you want to do it. Is that okay with you, Fred? If I just go ahead and just paraphrase a couple of these conditions so that the person making the motion and seconding will know what they're doing very easily?
So you want to tell the person who makes the motion what to do?
No,
Is that what you're asking?
I'm just suggesting past conditions. So these are past conditions. If they want to accept them, they can. Is that allowed?
I'll make a motion that we
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the application as written with the conditions that Mike Harmer puts in place.
I don't think you know what you're voting on yet, Jimmy. So let's wait until we know what
Almost.
you're voting on.
All right, so I'll go through this real quick. Okay, so here's the conditions that we use. The first one was that the primary use of facility shall be that of an eatery, and then Fred would wordsmith it. And then the second one is shall be operated in a manner that is consistent with all written and agreed upon representations made by the applicant during the application process. And he'll wordsmith that. The third one would be alcoholic beverages shall not be served. And he'll wordsmith that. The fourth one would be if indoor seating, well, we won't even have to worry about that. So you don't have to talk about that. The fifth one would be, or the fourth one, the next one would be outdoor enclosed tables. No. Outside, put it this way. The eatery will not provide any music, outside speakers. How's that sound? Something like that. So what we put in the last one was outside loudspeakers for amplification of sound are prohibited. That'd be the best way to put it by the eatery, because we know we're right next to the bottom cork on this one, so we don't want to jam up the cork. All exterior windows and doors shall be closed by 11 p.m. He's agreed. He's going to close at 11 or 10. So we can, Fred, what do you think? Do we set the condition that he closes at 10, or do I just use the same one for down the street?
Well, he said that, if I recall correctly, his hours of operation were 8 a.m. to 9 p.m.
10 p.m.
Monday through Thursday, and then that's the way I heard it, and then and then 8 to 10 on Friday and Saturday.
So if he's good with that,
Sunday through Thursday they close at 9, and Friday and Saturday they close at 10. That's what I heard.
Yes. Okay. So he put that. Fred will put the hours in there, so we don't need to talk about the windows.
Does the applicant want to limit himself in this, or say till 11 o'clock? Because he might be doing very, very well on a Thursday night at 10:05 and want to stay up until 11. He should be allowed to have that choice, at least till 11 p.m.
Why don't we just use the same words that we had in the last one, and the hours of operation shall not be earlier than 6 a.m. and not after 12 a.m. the following day.
I think that's very acceptable.
That would be perfect for us.
Yeah, so we'll put those, you got that, Fred? That'll be, you'll find that in that sample ordinance. And then the next condition that could be considered, the applicant during periods of normal operations shall remove any and all litter accumulating in the public space. Wordsmith that, from the pliables or whatever. That's not applicable. Any exterior mechanical visible from public streets, use properties, residential, and be appropriately screened. And then there's a condition here, all exterior mechanical equipment visible from public streets and adjacent residential use properties or any residential zoning district shall be appropriately screened so as not to create a nuisance. I don't see you creating anything there, Keith, but that'll be in as a condition. So any such screening plans shall be approved by the town. They just want to make sure you don't have anything ugly looking. But that's something Fred will throw in there, or if the motion asks for it. The entire facility shall comply with all applicable state, county, town, fire, health, and building codes. That's a given. And then no outgoing delivery service, which you're not even proposing any delivery, shall be permitted. So we won't even talk about that. So the conditions that I read off are what I'm thinking as far as just setting the table. Anyone who wants to make a motion, Jimmy, if you're ready to make a motion, and however you want to do it. I'm not dictating how it goes. I just want to make sure you guys had that information at your fingertips. If you
actually have a question before that around delivery.
Yeah.
In a lot of our stores, we use a third-party delivery system, such as a DoorDash or Uber Eats, things like that. Would that be permitted?
So if you are planning on delivering, so basically the terms that we had at the other places was no outgoing delivery service shall be permitted from any portion of the applicant's property before 9 a.m. or after 6 p.m. So that was, I don't know why they had after 6 p.m., but 6 p.m. doesn't seem to make much sense. The other facility didn't have like the parking lot like you have right there. So I don't think that we even need to address that. That's up to you, Jimmy, making the motion. I'm saying I don't see it as applicable because they got the liquor store parking, cars coming and going all over the place, all the time. So I don't see how, if Keith has delivery during his hours operation, that's going to be a problem at this particular site. So your call, Jimmy. But I'm saying that that's not one of the conditions that I served up. But if you want to add it, your call.
So I would like to make a motion to accept the application with the conditions that Mike just put in place or told us about, with the availability of delivery, third-party delivery.
There you go. Perfect. That just covers that base right there. All right. So we need a second on that.
I'll second that.
That's Mark to second. So let me see. Jimmy, motion. Mark, Norcris, second. All right. Now we're up for a vote for the recommendation ordinance that Fred will draft up. So let's go for a vote by David.
In favor, yes.
All right. And Mark,
In favor, yes.
Jimmy,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So the recommendation for the ordinance passes, and that is pretty much we've accomplished the goal of the meeting. So Fred, the timing for both these ordinances to clean them up. If you want, you can shoot them over to me on an email and I'll review them real quick, but it's your call. Just get them up to town hall, to Jim Deeds or whoever needs them. And at this point, we'll go around the room to the commissioners for any comments. Any comment from you, Jimmy?
No, I'm good.
All right, Mark Norquist, any comment?
No comment.
David Lyons, any comment?
No comment.
All right, and then there's me, no comment. So motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All right.
I second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
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 All right, we're out of here. Thank you all
Thank
very
you,
much.
gentlemen.
Thank you. Lucky.
Thank you,